Hey guys, this is Karina Lane from theuniversityrebel.com. I am here today with our special guest and first featuring guest, Clarence. Clarence and I both go to Western Connecticut State University in Connecticut, and Clarence is going to share for us today a concept that he brought to the university on how he features people on a page called Humans of WestCon, but he's going to talk about how Humans of WestCon pretty much created his college experience to be very different than the traditional 4-year track that most kids are marketed when they go to college. So, Clarence, tell us about yourself, a little bit about you, how you got there, and, through Humans of WCSU.
Okay. So, hi guys. So my name is Clarence, like Karina said, so I'm a senior here at Western Connecticut State University. Basically about myself is that I was a very shy person at first, but occasionally I got a little more comfortable with myself starting out Humans of WestCon, as well as eventually becoming the president of a club here on campus. And just basically being an active member of the campus community really brought out my inner extrovert inside of me.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, your experience in college, what was your initial experience when you came to the university? You said you were shy. How did, your education and social environment, how was that at first before Humans of WestCon? How was that at first?
Okay. So, as a commuter, that's the biggest thing right now. So I'm a commuter here on campus, and so a lot of commuters have that sense of they come to school, do their classes, then go home. And that was me for our first year here at WestCon, was just basically just doing all the work I had to do, and then when I was done, and basically that was just my whole college experience. Then I didn't really do much besides going to class and then going home, besides just joining one little club and really not taking too much activity inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that was kind of like where I was at my first year here.
Okay. So, and actually, I'm also on the same page. My freshman year, I was a bio major, and I was also a commuter. I didn't even have a car at the time. I didn't have my license when first getting into college, so I understand the whole commuter attitude. You go to class, you maybe stay for 1 or 2 things, and then you leave because you don't have the time that on-campus students have.
Mm-hmm.
So, Humans of WCSU, your concept, what is it exactly? Like, what made you make this concept, and how did you mold your brand, and how did you create the topic? How has it made your college experience very unique?
Right. So actually, I started looking into Humans of New York, which is one of the biggest pages right now, just talking about people's stories and how they paint a picture of a certain place through the eyes of the people there. And I actually was inspired not only by Humans of New York, but a friend of mine who also started Humans of URI, and he brought out the stories of people who I kind of knew back in my high school, and just brought them into a different light, and I thought that was really, really awesome. And over the summer of last year, I thought about, why I didn't really see a Humans of WestCon here, so I figured why not try it out and see where it goes from there.
Right.
And I also, at the time, I also became president of a club, so the most important thing I learned was just being an active member of the campus community. I was like, I don't want to just be going to school and then going home. I actually want to do something, actually try and make an impact in some sort of way. And so I brought out Humans of WestCon and tried it out, and it was just basically a trial and error to see where it goes from there.
Wow, okay. So, I most definitely get you on that, the whole, you just don't want to just go to school and go home.
Right.
A little bit about myself real quick is that I was once that student, went home, that was it. Mm-hmm. But then I got involved in, the recreation department, and it really took a whole turn on how just getting involved in one program at your school can really change your whole college career.
Right.
And that's what Humans of WestCon most definitely did for you.
Mm-hmm. So
you spoke about, a big thing where a lot of students, they do suffer from social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
They do suffer from uncomfortable situations.
Right.
And, talking to people, featuring people, that is most definitely uncomfortable, whether you're talking to someone or whether, someone's asking you questions.
Definitely.
So, you talked about how you had an introverted personality.
Mm-hmm.
So explain to people, not just for humans of WestCon, like explain how you overcame that somewhat step by step, and how you still, have a little bit of a struggle here and there about that.
Right. So as an introverted person, most important thing I was struggling with is just like, how do I branch out from like my usual friend group? And so doing Humans of WestCon, I started out first featuring my friends at first, so I can get a little more comfortable talking about people, as well as getting more of my social skills and stuff like that. And then eventually I said, let's try and take a risk. And I walked up to just a random person here in the student center, and I asked them, I run a page here called Humans of WestCon. Would you be interested in being featured on it? And luckily that person said yes. And we started off a whole conversation from there, and he was actually one of the first few people I featured on the page. And I was like, I feel a little bit more comfortable doing this now, and maybe let's see where I can go from here. And I actually started featuring other people around the student center, and that's where I was like, all right, I feel a little more comfortable now talking to people, and just feeling like I feel so much more comfortable just talking to people, and it's just gone better from there.
Okay, that's what's up. So my last question to you for this featuring video would be, what is your advice? Because you do have an entrepreneurial concept here, even though it branched off from another big page, Humans of New York. What is your advice for people who are introverted, or who have quiet personalities, or who are very shy, but who want to be more outgoing and who want to be more successful in their everyday life? Speak about what they really have to do, nitty gritty of what they have to do to get over that.
Right. Well, I mean, for myself, the most important thing was taking that first risk of talking to other people outside of my friend group, and for me, just talking to myself, letting myself know, like, I can do this, and just letting myself not really like succumb to just saying like I have to stay within like my usual like routine and stuff like that. I say like try to be an active member of the campus community, join a club, join a sports. I'm pretty sure Karina can also speak on that, and like how important it is to be an active member of the campus community, because it not only shows how you can make an impact on just one person, but even like an entire like organization, or in my favorite case, just just speaking to people. Because in some ways, I did talk to somebody a few weeks ago on Humans of WestCon who talked about how important it is just to sit down and have a conversation with people, because in our campus we just don't do that as often as we'd like to do. And he told me like this is a great way just to get more people to talk about important subjects like that. And so I'd say talk to people. It's a little nervous. It's a little like maybe a little nerve-wracking at first, but obviously people would love just to talk to you, regardless of who you are and where you come from.
Right, and that is most definitely true. I have, worked my way through those situations too. It's very uncomfortable sometimes to sit and say, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. What's your name?" I mean, that's very, stressful. And at any college campus, that's similar to WestCon, where a large percentage are commuter students. I think they call it a suitcase campus, if I'm not mistaken, or where a lot of on-campus students actually go home for the weekend. It's very hard to network and communicate outside of that. So as Clarence said, you have to get out there, you have to shake hands, you just have to, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's always been a phrase that I heard other entrepreneurs, who are very successful, and business people. And, if you want to be successful, even if you don't want to own a business, but, you have to sit down for a job interview, you still have to be approachable and learn how to communicate with people in order for you to get to the next step of just being successful and educated. So that's pretty much our summary today. Thank you so much, Clarence, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Anyone from WestCon, I mean, if you're looking to have your voice featured on Clarence's page at Instagram, and I guess we got Facebook going on, Humans of WestCon, Humans of WCSU. I've been featured today. It's a great avenue to get your story out, and it's a great avenue for introverted people to take the first step where people see their story, and people will come to you and ask you about yourself. So it makes the process all a little easier. So thank you, Clarence, and
Thank you very much.
it was a great time. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.